FBI officer's story is false. New evidence in Charlie Kirk assassination changes everything. What if one of the most disturbing stories surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination isn't true? What if the claim that an FBI officer was involved, the theory that's spread like wildfire across social media, turns out to be nothing more than a smokescreen? And more importantly, what if the real truth is even darker? Because now new evidence has surfaced. And it doesn't just poke holes in the official story, it threatens to tear it apart. On September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was shot during a speaking event in Utah. The early reports were clear: a rooftop shooter, a bolt-action rifle, and a lone suspect named Tyler Robinson. The FBI backed that version, and most people moved on. But in the weeks that followed, something strange happened. Photos, angles, statements, they stopped lining up. And then came a question investigators didn't want to answer. Was Charlie Kirk actually shot from behind? If that's true, the implications are massive. It would mean the shooter wasn't where we were told. It would mean the trajectory was different. It would mean someone's lying. So in this episode, we're going to unpack everything, from the new forensic analysis to the contradicting witness accounts, and explore why the FBI officer theory might not just be false, but designed to distract us from something far more unsettling. And if you care about the truth, not just the version that fits your narrative, then stick with me. Because this matters more than politics. It didn't take long for the conspiracy theories to take hold. Just hours after Charlie Kirk's death was confirmed, a wave of suspicion started rising. Not against the alleged shooter, but against the people investigating him. Some claimed the FBI knew more than they were saying. Others suggested something more direct, that an FBI officer was somehow involved, as the shooter, as an accomplice, or as part of a broader cover-up. The theory spread like gasoline on fire. According to this version, Tyler Robinson was either framed or used. Social media lit up with posts pointing to blurry rooftop footage, screenshots of federal agents at the scene, and cryptic messages alleging that the entire investigation had been orchestrated to distract from the real assassin, a federal officer. No proof, no hard evidence. But in a world driven by outrage and algorithms, that didn't seem to matter. Videos began circulating, low resolution, high emotion, claiming the rifle shown in official photos looked staged. Some swore the surveillance footage was doctored. Others claimed the ballistics didn't line up at all. The most disturbing allegation? That the trajectory of the bullet, the one that killed Kirk, didn't match a rooftop shot. That it came from a lower angle, possibly from within the venue itself. And if that's true, the question isn't just who pulled the trigger. It's who told us to look the other way. But here's the problem with these claims. They're loud, but unverified. Not a single credible source has confirmed FBI involvement. No documents, no eyewitnesses, no leaked memos, just pixels, paranoia, and a growing distrust of the institutions meant to protect us. So, is it a dangerous distraction? Or is it the kind of disinformation planted to keep us from seeing something even more disturbing? Because in the search for truth, false trails can be just as revealing as the real ones. To really understand this case, we need to hear from the experts, those who deal with evidence every day, and who can cut through speculation to reveal what's truly possible. First, forensic ballistics specialists. They tell us that determining the trajectory of a bullet isn't guesswork, it's precise science. They analyze the angle of entry, the height and distance of the shooter, and even the elevation of the victim at the time. If the shot came from a rooftop, as the official story claims, the bullet's path would show a downward trajectory, from above, striking the front or upper body. But if the claim that Kirk was shot from behind holds water, the ballistics would have to show a horizontal or upward trajectory. That kind of detail is recorded in autopsy reports, bullet paths through tissue, and even in the damage to surrounding bone and muscle. Which brings us to medical examiners and pathologists. They explain that an autopsy reveals far more than just the cause of death. It can show the entrance wound, its size, shape, and depth, and whether there's an exit wound. It can show internal damage consistent with the angle of fire, and even estimate the distance between shooter and victim. If Charlie Kirk was truly shot from behind, the autopsy would show clear signs, and experts would be able to tell if the shot came from above, below, or level. So far, though, the full autopsy report remains sealed. Without it, we're left with speculation. Finally, criminal investigators and legal experts shed light on the strength of the physical evidence. They point out that while DNA evidence on items like towels and screwdrivers is compelling, it's not infallible. Chain of custody matters, and so does context. Destroyed evidence, like the note in this case, raises red flags. How much can we trust testimony about what was written if the original document is gone? And early misstatements from officials, such as confusing who was apprehended, can seriously muddy public perception. Together, these expert insights remind us, evidence is complex. It requires careful, critical analysis. And sometimes, what we think we know needs to be questioned. Because in cases like this, truth isn't just about facts. It's about how we interpret them. Many viewers have raised valid questions, and that's exactly what this case demands: scrutiny. Objection 1. There is video footage showing a gun-bearing person on the rooftop, so how can the FBI officer's story hold any credibility? Here's the thing. Yes, videos show a person of interest on the rooftop, but no credible footage shows an FBI officer firing a weapon. Visual evidence alone doesn't confirm identity or intent without verified provenance. Objection 2. People who claim Kirk was shot from behind cite images suggesting bullet entry in the back. Until the official autopsy report is released and examined by experts, those images remain speculative. Lighting, angle, and wound appearance can be misleading or misinterpreted. Objection 3. Why would anyone spread false claims without basis? In politically charged cases, misinformation spreads rapidly. Some sources latch onto partial evidence or hearsay. That's why assessing the credibility of each source is crucial. Objection 4. Is it possible an FBI officer was involved in some way, even if not as the shooter? In theory, yes, but so far, there is no credible evidence to support such claims. Without strong proof, documents, testimony, or clear chain of command connections, these remain unsubstantiated theories. To help you follow this complex story, let's recap how it all unfolded. First, the shooting itself, and what was known immediately afterward. Then, the early narratives and rumors, especially the FBI officer theory spreading across social media. Next, the investigation's progress, evidence collection, arrests, and official statements. After that, new evidence emerged, DNA links, weapon recovery, and the destroyed note that challenged some rumors. Then came the speculation about whether Kirk was shot from behind. Finally, expert analysis helping us weigh the facts versus the theories. This timeline helps separate fact from fiction, step by step. Among the most debated claims is this one, that Charlie Kirk was shot from behind, contradicting the rooftop shooter story. Supporters point to images of the wound, angles in videos, and witness statements to suggest this, but official sources have yet to release any autopsy report confirming this. The current narrative is of a single shot from an elevated rooftop position, striking the front or side of the neck. To prove the shot from behind theory true, we would need clear evidence. An exit wound consistent with that trajectory, detailed forensic analysis, and reliable witness testimony. Without these, this remains a theory, intriguing but unconfirmed. So where does this leave us? The strongest evidence today points to Tyler Robinson as the lone shooter. His DNA on key items, the rifle gifted by his family and recovered from the scene, and threatening messages all align. The FBI officer involvement theory, while widespread online, has not been substantiated with credible proof. The shot from behind claim remains an open question, worthy of investigation but not yet proven. But is that enough? In a case charged with politics, emotion, and unanswered questions, missing pieces matter. What if the full autopsy or forensic data holds surprises we don't yet know? What stories are shaped by what remains unsaid? If you care about truth, not just narratives, don't just accept what you're told. Demand the documents. Share credible sources. Don't let rumor win. What do you think? Is the official account solid, or does doubt linger? Have you seen credible evidence supporting the officer's story or the shot from back claim? Share your thoughts below. Your voice matters. We owe it to Charlie Kirk, his family, and every victim of violence to get this right. Not the story that suits a side, but the one backed by facts. This video explores claims and evidence available to the public. We are not claiming proven conspiracies. Instead, we analyze what's supported by credible, documented evidence versus rumor or misinformation. Remember, real people are involved here. Victims, families, suspects. Respect for due process, the presumption of innocence, and sensitivity to loss are essential. If you've watched this far, you hold power. The power to demand transparency. The power to hold officials accountable. Don't let this case fade without every question answered. If you believe in truth and responsible coverage, like, share, and subscribe, because only with a wider reach can we bring light to the shadows. Thank you for watching, and for demanding more. Charlie Kirk wasn't just a political figure. He was a symbol, sharp, divisive, unapologetic. As the founder of Turning Point USA, he built a movement that energized America's youth on the political right and outraged just about everyone on the left. So when he was gunned down during a speech in Utah, the country didn't just react, it cracked. It happened on September 10th, 2025, Utah Valley University, a packed auditorium. Kirk had just stepped up to the mic when a single shot rang out, echoing off the walls like a lightning strike in a dry sky. Within minutes, the news broke. Charlie Kirk had been shot. Hours later, he was dead. The bullet had entered through his neck. The country stood still. His supporters were stunned. His critics were silent. And the questions began. Who did it, and why? The first name to surface was Tyler Robinson, 22 years old. No criminal record, no prior outbursts. But suddenly, he was at the center of the most politically explosive assassination in a generation. Law enforcement claimed they had the evidence. DNA on a towel left behind with the rifle. A screwdriver found on the rooftop. Text messages, cold, calculated, allegedly from Robinson, hinting at the attack days before it happened. And then there was a note. Destroyed, but partially recovered through forensic analysis. The weapon? A bolt-action rifle. Fired, according to the official account, from a rooftop approximately 150 to 200 yards away. It all fit together, or it was made to, because what started as a straightforward story, a lone shooter with a clear motive, would soon begin to unravel. And the first crack? It started with the angle of the shot, because multiple sources, some from inside the investigation, others from the sidelines, began whispering the same unsettling detail. The wound may have come from behind. Not above, not from the front, but from somewhere the cameras weren't looking. And if that's true, the entire timeline falls apart. So the question becomes, was Tyler Robinson the assassin, or just the perfect villain in a story too convenient to question? And why would someone go to such lengths to make sure no one ever asks that question out loud? Before we get lost in theories and shadows, let's ground ourselves in what we do know. There is hard evidence tying Tyler Robinson to the scene. DNA from a towel wrapped around the recovered rifle. It matched him. So did the DNA found on a screwdriver left near the rooftop where the shot was allegedly fired. The weapon itself? A bolt-action rifle. Investigators say it was a gift from Robinson's family, and ballistics confirmed it's the same rifle that fired the shot that killed Charlie Kirk. Then there are the texts. One message, allegedly sent just 2 days before the assassination, read, "I have a window, a chance to take him out." Investigators claim it was directed at Kirk. And then, the note, burned, destroyed. But according to the FBI, partially recovered, not physically, but through interviews, witness statements, and chemical residue on what remained. They say it spelled out intent. All of this, the DNA, the gun, the texts, the note, forms a chain of evidence pointing directly to Robinson. And so far, none of it points to an FBI officer. No fingerprints, no trajectory maps, no verified photos or video footage placing any agent in a position to fire the fatal shot. Every official detail, every lab-confirmed lead, builds the case for a lone gunman, not a conspiracy. But that hasn't stopped people from asking, why does something still feel off? Because there are questions that haven't been fully answered. For instance, the trajectory. Some observers online claim the autopsy suggests Kirk was shot from behind, not from the front. Others point out the lack of a visible exit wound in the early reports, implying a different angle than what a rooftop sniper would suggest. Is that speculation? Maybe. But here's what's not. To this day, the full autopsy report has not been released to the public, which means no independent confirmation of entry or exit wounds, no clear forensic diagram, no clarity on whether the shot came from above or level. And then there's the video, or the lack of it. Multiple camera angles captured the moment of the shooting, but in none of them is the rifle clearly visible. No muzzle flash, no figure on the rooftop pulling the trigger. Just a shot, a collapse, and then chaos. Some argue that's because of the camera angles. Others believe footage has been edited, trimmed, degraded, or carefully framed to hide what really happened. And if the rifle isn't visible, what does that mean? Was the shooter really on the rooftop? Was Robinson even in that position? Or was something, or someone, else involved? Because if the angle is wrong, and the footage is unclear, and the wound doesn't line up with the story, then maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the work of a lone gunman after all. But here's the hard truth. None of the new speculation has been confirmed by independent investigators. Not yet. So before we rush to rewrite the narrative, we have to ask, are we chasing ghosts? Or are we finally getting close to the part of the story we were never meant to see? From the moment the shot rang out on September 10th, the response was swift and overwhelming. Law enforcement flooded Utah Valley University within minutes. The FBI joined the investigation almost immediately. Federal agents, forensic teams, and state authorities locked down the area, secured the rooftop, and began collecting evidence. What they found would shape the official narrative for weeks to come. A bolt-action rifle, recovered from the rooftop of an adjacent building, wrapped in a towel. DNA on that towel matched Tyler Robinson. A screwdriver, believed to have been used to access the rooftop, also bearing Robinson's DNA. Investigators traced text messages from Robinson's phone. One of them read, "I have an opportunity to take him out." Then came the note, or what was left of it. By the time investigators got to it, it had been partially destroyed. But through forensic recovery and interviews with people close to Robinson, the FBI claimed they could reconstruct its message, an expression of intent. Photos of a person of interest were released within 48 hours. A reward was offered for information. The pressure mounted. Days later, Tyler Robinson was arrested, charged with murder, and placed in federal custody. It seemed like a clean case, open and shut. But the deeper you look, the more complicated it becomes. For one, the note. It was destroyed, meaning the most damning piece of evidence against Robinson is also the one we can't verify. Then there was the press conference, a chaotic moment when the FBI director stated, "The subject has been apprehended," only to later clarify that the person detained was not the shooter. That misstep, however brief, poured gasoline on every conspiracy theory already gaining traction. And most importantly, the trajectory of the bullet. To this day, no official statement has confirmed whether the shot came from the front, from above, or, as some now claim, from behind. That detail matters, because it's not just about where Robinson was. It's about whether the physical evidence supports the story we were told. And until the public sees the full autopsy, the forensic diagrams, or the detailed ballistic analysis, that question lingers. Were investigators too quick to declare this solved? Or is the public simply unwilling to accept the possibility that the simplest explanation might actually be the truth?